Powell says private waste removal companies spend 60% of what public waste removal companies spend per customer, yet give their customers at least as good a service. So we're saying the private companies only spend 60% per customer of what the public spends, and they give them as good of service. Private waste removal companies therefore work more efficiently. All right, so Powell's conclusion is that private waste removal companies are more efficient.
Okay. Your conclusion is unwarranted. Different customers have different waste removal needs. Since private companies, unlike their public counterparts, can select which customers to serve, they choose to exclude the potential customers whom they judge to be the most costly to serve.
All right, so Freeman then its conclusion is, hey, your conclusion is unwarranted because it's not that the private is more efficient, it's just that they are like literally picking and choosing who they're serving.
Okay, so with these, is the second person, like, that conclusion is always in the beginning with like, your conclusion is unwarranted, or
Not
I just
always, no, because sometimes like they might be like, well, your facts are true, da 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 da, here's something, so da 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 da.
Okay.
But a lot of times they are the first part because they're like, hey, your conclusion is unwarranted because of this.
Okay.
So then what I do is I reread the first one really quickly and I'm like, or just remind myself like what it said.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go through A and I say, would Powell agree with this, disagree, or do I not know?
Okay. Accuracy of the figure of 60% with regard to the difference in service cost between private and public waste removal companies. Oh, they dispute between.
Yeah. So would Powell say that the 60% figure is accurate?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would just put a yes and move on.
Okay.
So what would Powell say about B?
Reason private waste removal companies are able to offer service comparable to that offered by public ones while spending less money per customer. Yes.
Powell would say yes to that.
Wait, I'm trying to think of I know private waste removal companies spend 60% of what public waste removal companies spend per customer.
Yeah, they would say like, they would say yes to that. Like, yeah, they're able to do this. That's awesome. So what would Powell say to C?
Ability of private versus public waste removal companies to select which customers to serve. He would say no to that one.
Well, actually, do we know what he says is the ability?
Oh no, we don't. So that's I don't know because
Freeman. So we could cross it off and not even consider it for Freeman.
Okay, so yeah, no, I don't know. Okay. The likelihood of the local authorities turning public waste removal companies into private ones so that the companies can operate with lower service costs than they now incur. We don't know about that.
Yeah, like the likelihood of the like local authorities turning public into private, we don't talk about that at all. So we get to cross it off.
Okay. Relationship between the needs of a waste removal customer and the amount of money it takes to serve that customer. Okay, so it doesn't really talk about the amount of money.
Yes, this is an awesome one for an example of this, because I bet E tricks a lot of people up because Freeman, like just bigger picture, Freeman talks about E, but Powell doesn't say anything about the relationship between the two.
Yeah.
And so while Freeman uses this to counter Powell, we don't know what Powell thinks of this. So since it's I don't know, we get to cross it off.
Yeah.
And so this is super cool because now we only have to decide which one of these two would Freeman say no to, and that's our answer.
Okay. A, you would say?
So Freeman would disagree with the accuracy of the figure of 60%.
No, I don't know what he would disagree with because he doesn't say anything about it, right?
Right. Like, is his issue with the fact that the private waste companies are not 60%, like only cost 60% of what the public cost? Is that why he thinks that the private waste companies are not more efficient?
No, because they're able to like pick and choose is what he's
Yes.
saying.
So he actually probably agrees that it only costs them 60% of what it does
Okay.
public, but it's the reason why they're able to have that 60%.
Okay.
His issue isn't with the accuracy of the figure.
Oh, okay.
So he would actually say yes to this.
Okay.
And then what does he think is the reason private waste removal companies are able to offer the service for
Because they're
cheap?
able to pick and choose who they want to
Yes.
offer.
So Powell thinks it's because that they're more efficient. Freeman thinks it's because they can pick and choose who they want to work with. And so that's why B's our answer.
Okay.